Hello, welcome to Soundplex Studios. We're in Studio A today with two special guests and actually good friends of mine because they frequent my place all the time. Events, gourmet mamas, music shows, Kevin and Danielle Wisniewski's. And, you know, it's a privilege to have you guys here because we've been talking for probably several months, I think, about this whole very thing about your business and marketing it and how do we get the word out about it. And we came in contact, we start having that dialogue. But we finally got to this moment where we're going to share a lot more details about Blue Moon estate sales, of which these two are very involved in. And they've been doing it for 2 years. They're going on their third year. And we have a really nice program planned. This is going to be in two segments, one before the sale and then one after the sale. And I think it's going to be interesting because I can resonate with this topic, estate sales. My mom went through it and it was brutal. It was challenging, but because I did it myself, but I wasn't aware that you guys were in business and we didn't know each other then.
Right.
And I know a lot of families, including my wife, whose father is going to be probably downsizing soon. So it's a very arduous process. And I think you guys make it simple, for lack of a better word. But we're going to get into some Q&A. But I always like to start off by saying, you're in this business and there's a reason why you're doing it. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and why you actually got into estate sales, which I think is a great business to be in because the demographics are ideal. But share a little history of how you got into the business and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Sure. Sure.
Well, so we knew we wanted a business. And the main reason is that we have a special needs son who's autistic.
Yep.
And he was getting ready to graduate probably within 2 years of high school. And we want to make sure that he could be with us, but also work and be fulfilled every day and doing something because it's important. So I was looking for years, went down a couple different paths of different companies and franchises. And I was driving to our house and there was an estate sale sign in front of this farm across the street. And I'm like, okay. And I pulled over and I looked at Google and I couldn't find anything on it. I didn't know if I could just walk in. I didn't know anything about it. And then I don't know if it's somebody helping us or what. And probably within days, I got a message about Blue Moon estate sales franchise. And I'm like, it was top of mind. Like, this looks interesting. It's different. So we went down the path of diligence. Felt super comfortable. They were such good people. Or are good people, and they made it so easy, and we ended up signing up for them, and it gives us the flexibility with our son too.
Yep.
Wherever we have to take him, we can kind of schedule around that, and when we get to help people, at the end of the day, as one of our things we want to do is not only just we want our family business, but we want it to actually be able to help people, and
Right.
That's good motivation because I think a lot of people don't realize what it takes to raise a child with a disability, and you have to go through that and to be close at home, to be, and working from home, because most of the time you are at home. I know you go to like these places to stage them and work with the clients, but that's very noble. And, I appreciate you sharing that because that's important because I think in any business, there's got to be a story behind the business and why do you do what you do? So let's get into it. So you kind of took that role with Blue Moon, and it seems like a very cool company. So take us through the process. I know we're going to talk about some of the staging you've done. We have some videos of that, but share with us the business itself. We can talk about the origin, but estate sales is very important to a lot of people. But take us through the process of how the sales process works. Okay. Someone calls you and says, I want to downsize, or what's a typical client look like and why are they looking? And then take us through the sales process of what's at stake. You're going to someone's house, you're assessing, et cetera, et cetera. But take us through the process at a high level, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit more of the details.
So when a client initially reaches out to us, they're either just starting their process of looking to downsize their home, or they're in panic mode. They sold their their parents' residence, and they need to get everything out of there, and they don't know what to do. So we can come in at that point in time, and we meet with the family, and we just explain how it is a process. It's not an easy thing to get to get through, unfortunately. So there's a lot of work on the front end that the families need to do when preparing their home for an estate sale. There's a lot of sorting. There's a lot of figuring out what items they want to take with them if they're moving their parents into a higher level community of some time, or if family members want to come in and take the items out of the home. There's a lot of sorting that they need to do. Once all that's said and done, then we can go in and we can fully see what's left over and assess if they have enough of a variety to move forward with an estate sale.
So do you do a lot of qualification on the phone? Because I know once you go there, that's important because you're going to see what the person has. You're going to see what kind of value resides there. But on that initial call with them, how much due diligence are you doing then? Are they sharing anything about what they own or what they have, and you have a kind of a broad stroke on it, and then when you get there, it's more detailed? And are there any surprises? So when someone says, "Oh, I have a lot of great stuff," and then you show up and it's like, "Oh boy." So yeah, what's that look like?
It's a mix. A lot of the times the people will tell us that they have furniture, they have different things. We have a list of the things that we go through when we're on the phone when I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll generally ask them, I go down my list of items. Do you have jewelry? Do you have high value items? Do you have vehicles? Do you have decor items? Do you have patio furniture? Down the whole list. And a lot of them don't realize that they can sell these particular items within an estate sale. Clothing, for an example, is a huge attraction for people at estate sales. And a lot of people wouldn't even think to include clothing in their estate sale.
Okay. And what's the emotional side of it? I know there's an emotional aspect to it because, these are possessions that people just didn't buy yesterday.
Right.
They've owned it for years and it's part of the family. What's that like? And did you sometimes have to be in a very delicate situation with them, and how do you handle that? Because I think it's across the board there.
It is. It's very emotional. A lot of the times these people are not they're not needing to clear out their homes for happy reasons. A lot of the times they've lost a parent or they've lost a spouse. It can be challenging. It could be, you have to be very empathetic and very patient with a lot of them because, like you said, they're parting with things that have been a part of their loved ones, family, for a very, very long time. So I had a consultation last week with a woman whose husband passed away, and she and I were both crying at the table, talking about some of the items that they had together. So it's you're coming in at a time of the life where there's a lot of heartache sometimes.
Yep.
So we want to be there. We want to celebrate their items. We want to celebrate their history. We want to celebrate their family member. But then again, there's other people who are looking to just sell their home for happy reasons.
Right.
They're moving to a summer home or a shore home, whatever the situation is. We kind of go the whole gamut of emotions.
That's cool. Let's talk about the dynamic between you two because, it's not very common to have a husband and wife in a business together.
Yes.
And I know
It's wonderful.
Yes.
and I know you
joy.
guys love each other so very much.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's never any conflict.
Never.
So what are the roles? Like, I know Kevin has another job and he works and he travels a lot because I know you guys. But what's his responsibility? Does he have specific responsibilities? And do you have specific responsibilities? And they don't clash. They don't overlap. What's that dynamic?
Mine.
Yes.
I'm the back office person, right?
Okay.
So I do HR, payroll, accounting, marketing, anything behind the scenes. And Danielle and our partner, Christine, they kind of run everything else day to day. I do also help when available with setup and the actual sale itself on the weekend. So that's my part. But Danielle and Christine are the...
Yeah, Christine is our field manager, and she has been just a wonderful godsend, and we can't do this without her. She and I work with the clients in the homes. We do the staging together. We do the pricing together. We run the sales on the sale days together, and she has just been a godsend. She's so outgoing, and her vision and her organization... We couldn't survive without her.
How did you find her? Like, I always like to find out how you found someone so special. And did she just come, did you put an ad in the newspaper?
No, we've been friends with, Christine and I have been friends for almost 30 years.
Oh, wow.
When Kevin and I met, we worked at a former employer together, and Christine's husband, Jeff, also worked there with us. So the three of us Kevin, I, and Jeff have been friends for a long time. And then Christine came into the picture, and we've been friends. She's Italian. She's from South Philly. So she and I hit it off right away.
You're Italian
So-
too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Little bit.
Little bit.
A little bit. The other thing too is, I mean, it's a great team because for me, I'm the garage guy.
Yep.
The garage person. Like,
He does the garage assessment.
Yes.
garage,
He does,
basement,
yes,
you know, and
yes.
tools and vehicles and that kind of thing. Danielle's like the day-to-day. She knows the values of things current.
Right.
And Christine's got this amazing vision for antiques and
Yeah.
arts and crafts and
That's a good team.
so yeah, it's
It's
a
a
really
nice
good
balance.
dynamic as far as when we go in, we have somebody that can figure it all out.
I always talk about the human element to everything. And your business is all about the human element, okay? And just your team alone, I think you guys complement each other. And then Christine, fills a void there because
does.
obviously she has a skill set. And it seems like you have some good cohesion there within the company itself.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, the next part of this is the staging process, going into the house. And do you go in yourself, or do you guys go in as a team? Do all three is go in at the same time, or is someone going in and saying, okay, let me go look at a lay of the land first, and then we'll kind of come back later? How does that work when you have a new client that says, okay, I'm ready to move forward? What's that assessment look like, and what's the process there?
So once we've done the consultation and we've agreed that there's enough to move forward with the sale, when we get in there, Christine and I usually are the ones who are taking the lead on that.
Right.
And
But wait, let me ask you one more thing. Are they required to do anything before you go on site?
Yes, they need to do all of the initial sorting of the items.
So they do the initial sort.
Yes.
Got
And
it.
that's primarily so they know what they want to include and what they don't want to
Right.
include.
Do they got to put them in like each room might just have a centerpiece where this is where everything that they want to get rid of? Is it very organized, or is it all across the board?
We've had both. We've had both. We've
Right.
had homes where they've done an amazing job of setting everything out. They've even gone ahead and set some of the items up as we would when we've gotten into the home. And there have been other times where they've just said, this box has Christmas decorations, this box has china, this box has linens, and we just
then
pretty
you-
much have to go in there and go on a treasure hunt, basically.
And it could be as simple as ideally they separate it completely, and maybe this room has everything they're taking, everything else for sale, or it's as simple as a tag. They have a post-it note they can put on everything that they want to keep,
Gotcha.
and then we
Okay.
know what we're working with at that point.
So that's an important piece of this whole thing, is that first assessment, because you're going to get a gut feeling what you have and what the market value of some of this stuff might be, and what it's all going to entail to kind of sell this stuff. So that's important. So that first assessment is very important. So let's talk about now the staging process. You go in. We've gotten some really interesting videos. We sent Chris, our producer, out to the home to take some videos. So Chris, why don't you show us, the one with the Hummels and the doll cabinets, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So that's a lot of stuff. Okay. And we had talked about this pre-show, but this is important to note. When you see that stuff, and my mom had a lot of Hummels, and she had tons of them. And I noticed there was probably a good 60 or 80 of them there, and I think that's the number you kind of came up with. What happens now? You see all this stuff, and you say, okay, there's value there, or there's a market for that. Talk to me about what happens now. So you've gone there, you see this material. Do you ever contact someone even before you do the final stage to unload specific products that you see have a good market and you can unload them quickly?
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
kind of our first step. We've established relationships with certain resellers or people who like to buy these particular items, and we'll reach out to them initially first to see if they would be interested in coming to take a look at the things and see if they want to purchase things before the sale starts.
Okay. And did you guys do that yourselves? Did you discover these people that like buying these types of items yourself, or did Blue Moon help you? The
No,
franchise help you? Anyway?
they're all local people, so they've just found us through the different sales that we've had previously, and we keep a list of ongoing lists as people come in and shop more. Well, if they say, "Oh, can you let me know if you have record players? Can you let me know if you have Yadro pieces?" Whatever the situation is, we'll keep track of their information and reach out to them whenever things of those items when we come across them.
How come you never told me about all those items that I've been asking for?
We want to get top dollar for that.
Exactly.
No, that's cool because I think, and that's all about the marketplace. You know, if you see a house and you have a lot of cool stuff, you're going to try to unload that because it makes things easier for you.
It does.
Because you know it's your responsibility to move the products, and if you can kind of get rid of them before the actual estate sale happens, that's a feather in your cap, you know, and so on. So when you do this assessment too, and I'm sure you're going to see something that you say, well, there's really no market for this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you very, and we talk about this, how transparent are you with the client in that, hey, sir, you know, this is not going to move. Like, what's that discussion look like? And because I don't think you want to waste your time, and I don't think you want to, you know, sell him on something that maybe he's not going to move. So what's that discussion like?
That can be difficult at times, but it's a necessary one. That just happened to me yesterday. I went into a home and the home was packed with stuff, but it was all stuff that I know historically just won't sell. And I was honest with the client and I said, the time and the effort that it would take for us to come in and get this home ready and get everything ready to do a sale, they wouldn't walk away with anything after the sale.
Right.
And that's something that, you know, we never want to do that. We never want to not give a check to somebody after a sale. And I was upfront with them. And then what we do in that situation is we offer them options. I gave that particular person different organizations that they could reach out to that they can donate some of the furniture to. We have different clean out people that we work with that we can kind of get them to go in and help with the situation.
Okay. That's, because I think you have to be, but with anyone, you know my place, I have a lot of old stuff and you hold some stuff that's precious, you know,
Right.
But in the end, what's it worth? It might be worth a lot to me, but maybe for the marketplace, it's not, you know. So I'm sure that's sometimes a very difficult conversation. And I had that difficult conversation with my mom. I go, Mom, no one's buying this stuff.
Right.
You know, so, and I even had the garage sale and I didn't make any money. So it was like kind of one of those things, but that was before we had met. But you know, that process seems very interesting. And I can see how it can be interesting for you too, because each client is different. Everyone, if you go into 10 or 15 houses, isn't everything really different? I mean, there's not a lot of similarity with what people like. And so tell me about that. I mean, do you ever walk into a house and just get blown away by what's in there?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have. Absolutely.
And what is it about the house that blows you away? Is it the small items, the furniture, or the small little tchotchkes that are sitting on the tables?
Again, it varies. We are going to be working at a home in Cherry Hill later on that has the most amazing artwork in the home.
I'm going into that one.
Yes. That one would probably be a very good one for him to come and take a look at.
Am I going to get a call before everything goes on the market first, or are you not going to do that and you're going to have me pay?
I'm going to have you pay. I'm going to charge you double. That's what I'm
There'll
going to
be a small premium to market price
Yes,
for you, George.
exactly.
That's great. That's perfect. So that's interesting because I would love to, and sometimes you go to an open house, you know,
Right.
and I like to do that just to, when you see a house, like if something comes up for sale, even in Collingswood, I go, this is an interesting place. I'm just going to walk in there. I know I'm not buying a house, but I want to go in. You really get some really cool ideas, but then you also see stuff that you've never seen before.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting because we're all different. And I'm sure if I walked into your house, I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's great. So let's watch the last two videos because I do have a question about, you know, how this stuff is kind of presented. So Chris, show us those last two videos. And that producer does some good video work,
Yes,
doesn't he?
does.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
he does.
I'm going to have to up him from minimum wage. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I see a lot of, like, it seems very orderly to me, you know. Now, this is a great client. Am I right? Is this a client that, wow, they gotten everything sorted, everything looks pretty orderly, everything's in good shape, but that runs the gamut, right? I
Yes.
mean, you probably have some nightmarish stories and then some stories like this one.
Yes.
Is that true?
I think luckily, we've been really fortunate.
You've been
The
fortunate.
majority,
Okay.
talking 90% plus,
Right.
have been just fantastic.
Right.
I would say, even over the years, maybe just one or two, and it wasn't like atrocious, but there's some challenges.
Right.
But yeah, we've been really fortunate. Even with our shoppers, the crowd that we attract, because they know what they're going to.
Yep.
They go into this retail pop-up shop that they're going to see stuff that they can't get anywhere else.
Right.
And it's such a nice environment and comfortable, and you know, it's a big part of what we're trying to
Well,
do.
let's expand on that, because the differentiator, I think of your service as a high-end service, not a high-price service, but you're very hands-on. I know both of you, and you know I would do business with you even if you sold ice cream. Actually, it'd have to be something else, because I love ice cream. I would buy that from anybody. But you know, that's a big differentiator. Tell us about why Blue Moon is different, and you could talk about the franchise as well, because I know they do a lot of you know, back end stuff that's very important. Tell us a little bit about Blue Moon and why that's important and why that makes you guys stand out in the marketplace.
So the one main reason why we were so attracted to this business is the estate sale industry is a very unregulated industry.
Okay.
Unlike, say, the real estate market or the real estate industry. So this company, this franchise has really put together amazing practices and procedures on how to run a very well organized, professional estate sale. The practices, the training that we had to go through was hard. It was a very long, involved training process that we went through, and they really put together quality measures to make sure that everything is done correctly and that you're getting a first-class sale.
Right. I mean, they have decades of experience, so to kind of jump in and be able to absorb that and be a part of it is fantastic. For us, I mean, the transparency is probably one of the largest differentiators for us, because, again, we're totally upfront and honest with the client. And at the end of the day, at the end of the sale, we have a full POS system set up in the house. So we accept credit cards, Venmo, cash, of course, but there's a register, and it's all recorded, and we are able to give an actual report by category of what's sold and what amounts. So it's clear, hey, this was the amount of the sale. Here's the agreement. Boom, boom, boom. Here's your check. We get the check within 24 hours. So it's a very transparent thing, and we're honest with them. And I'll even give you an example of some sales. I mean, we're talking about art for the one in Cherry Hill upcoming. We'll be honest. We'll go in and say, you know what? These items, the collection you have, this isn't really probably suited for an on-site estate sale in this area. Collections are great. There's collectors out there, but it's more of a national or global audience. And you have to be able to hit that.
Right.
So we have a platform now that if we come across a collection that we're like, you know what, this isn't going to sell in Camden County, like you're not going to attract enough interest in this, we can put that whole collection
Global market
online, and it'll go globally. We can ship anywhere in the world. So we have that as a part of the service too. It's not just local. And we can tell if something, again, is in that market because of the tools that the franchise helps us to provide to us. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it's
right.
it's a big benefit.
Yeah, and I think you know, the discussion we had earlier before the show about how you evaluate the products itself. You have a database, you know, and it's as simple as taking a picture of something and sharing that picture. They then look at it and kind of give you a number and say, so in essence, is it right to assume that you probably have a really good idea? Maybe not, you don't nail it, but you probably have a pretty good idea of what the number looks like that you can get for something even before the estate sale happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's all from Blue Moon, correct? I mean, Blue Moon
Yes.
gives you those resources.
Blue Moon, and of course,
And you have some experience.
Yeah.
within,
Right.
within the last 2 years.
And, kind of to finish up, because we're going to have another episode or a broadcast, which is going to be more after this sale that we've taken some videos of. And we're going to probably bring in a client or two where we'll have a little testimonial.
Okay.
And we'll have to check them, make sure they're legitimate.
Absolutely.
Not not your cousin or your kids.
Okay.
But are there any times when you underestimate the value of something? Does someone walk in the door for the estate sale and say, I want that and I'm going to pay? Like, is someone, or is everything just so fine tuned that you price everything and there's no hidden thing? Like sometimes you see these stuff where a guy found something at a garage sale and he bought it for $20 and now he got $5,000 for it. Does that ever happen? Do you ever have a scenario like that ever happen?
No, I think the closest thing I can think of is for everyone out there, like if you have old audio, especially like analog audio, it's kind of like
Up and coming.
now it's a collector's like.
Really?
So when we see that, do you want to talk about something that could be gold? So we price it at market price, and we had a sale on Haddonfield in December, or January, excuse me. And they had some of this equipment, old speakers. I mean, the speakers are probably 40 years old. And Danielle
In
did the
good
research,
condition, perfect
and
condition.
thousands of dollars with the speakers, right? So somebody came in, and they was number one at the door because they saw the picture. Because we take a picture of every item, and every item is listed online so that people can view it and see what they might be interested in, which goes towards staging and everything else, and the time it takes to do this properly. And then right behind him, the second person came in. He's like, oh, he bought those speakers. He goes, what were they priced at? And we told him the price. So, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like we rarely get
Wow.
somebody saying we priced it too low.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
okay, yeah, that's
Well,
right.
that's good.
right on.
Right.
Well, that's important to the client because they want to maximize
Exactly.
their number.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's an important service that you guys provide
Right.
because no garage sale guy is going to do that.
No.
And kind of in the end, to wrap this up, is that you guys provide a great service. And I think if anyone's out there and they're looking to have an estate sale, or even if their parent is maybe thinking about downsizing, or something's happened in your family that is going to require it, Blue Moon Estate Sales in the Delaware Valley is the folks to call. And what a great couple. These guys are very interested in their business. They provide a valuable service, and they're doing it because of a disability to their son. That's why they got into it, and maybe it's a calling or whatever. But we have to appreciate folks like you in this type of business because it's not easy. It's very emotional, and you seem like very stable, emotional people, which is nice to know.
Yes, absolutely.
And that was a stretch. I always like to finish my show with a stretch, and that's certainly one. But
Appreciate the positive
Yes.
feedback there.
I want to thank both you guys for coming today. It was awesome. Thanks for
you.
sharing this information. This is very important. And we're going to put that next episode out there shortly. And we're going to do it after the sale, which is next weekend, Friday and Saturday, March 20th and 21st. It's 149.
No.
We
Oh,
just- we don't-
oh, good.
We don't do that.
Oh, we don't. Oops. I almost put a foot in my mouth, which is not the first time I've done that.
The town's fine.
Yeah.
Town's
Okay. It's in Delran, and that's a town I grew up in. So I was pretty close to that neighborhood. So I'm definitely going to show up.
Okay.
I might even show up when Chris shoots some of the video at the event. So I'll get there. Is the owner going to be there during the estate? So they're never present.
No,
during
they're
the
never
estate?
present, no.
Okay. All right. That's fine. And then I'll see you then. But we'll put this next broadcast on the calendar. And folks, thanks for showing up today. We appreciate it. And we'll see you probably within a few weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.